knocked her teeth out. Now, some of those men that you just saw injuring women in women's sporting competitions are now pissed because they're being banned from playing women's sports. More on this in a minute. Welcome back to the JP Reacts channel, my beautiful freedom-loving friend, where we like to call out the lies, hypocrisy, and corruption of tyrants. Satan shine the light of awareness on woke absurdities, and we do like to highlight the amazing work of other freedom fighters. Now, there's been freedom fighters rallying for reality, common sense, and I even dare say women's rights when it comes to women's sports. Freedom fighters like Riley Gaines, of course, as you're probably aware, she was the fastest women's swimmer in the collegiate women's swimming division, but always finished second place to Leah Thomas. Happens to be a man, nothing fishy there. So there are now lawsuits in action, and there's more and more public calls for change. So for example, this headline, calls for change after female high school field hockey player seriously injured by shot from male player. That was a clip you saw in the beginning, knocked her teeth out, absolutely devastating. So the public isn't so much waking up to common sense and what's right. The public has known that for quite a while. What the public is waking up to is their courage to voice what is right. So for example, take a look at this clip from a high school women's wrestling tournament, and you'll hear the boos from the crowd after a male trans athlete beats a female for the win.
It's the dramatic end to a competitive and controversial weekend for Mac Beggs. The 17-year-old Dallas area high school student won the title of champion in the girls' state wrestling competition Saturday.
You hear those boos. And by the way, the state championship, this guy just took away the first place opportunity in the women's division from a woman, from a girl. And you heard how the crowd responded. Now, granted, that's Dallas, so this is Texas. This isn't Portland or California where we're like, well, we actually outlawed sports because they're dangerous. Instead, we'll just feed you body positivity messages so you don't play sports. That'll make you a stronger person, won't it? But nonetheless, I think the importance of this clip is it's audibly hearing people having the courage to voice what they feel is right. I happen to agree that women's sporting competitions are literally no place for anybody but women. Not dogs,
not cats, not men, not uncles, not grandfathers, not gorillas, not dolphins,
but only girls. In that earlier clip you saw of a woman getting a volleyball spiked by a male player to her face, which caused a concussion and a neck injury. I'll show you that clip again because then we're going to hear from the injured woman who was injured by a boy.
They highlighted it. Huddle.
Oh, that's no. 2,000 years of evolution coming right at you.
That's commentary by Ben Shapiro and some other guys.
This is where
Oh, no.
Concussion and neck injury. That is serious. Well, JP, there's no proven difference and no scientific evidence that boys have a competitive advantage in sports over girls. You're an idiot. There is plenty of proof. And here's a clip of the injured player.
They would have to continue to play the game even after that incident happened. And I just remember everyone just so not knowing what to do, and it was just very, very traumatizing.
Very traumatizing. By the way, long recovery.
It's very slow. It's been very difficult, you know, not being able to get back into things as I have in the past. So
almost like you weren't meant to receive a ball to the face at that amount of force. I don't know. Now, let's take a look at amazing press secretary Jean-Pierre Corin, whatever, being asked about men competing in women's sports. It's hilarious.
Parents out there who have daughters, let's say from high school, for example, who are worried that their daughter may have to compete against a male and worry about their daughter's safety.
That is a dangerous thing to say.
That's a dangerous thing to say? The idea of protecting your daughter's safety is a dangerous thing to say, you Marxist lunatic?
Essentially, transgender kids we're talking about are dangerous.
I know you're in high school.
Boys competing against girls is dangerous. If they're transgender or regular gender, but like a boy, he, him, boy, no matter what their identity, competing against girls, that's what we're saying is dangerous. Yes, we're saying it's dangerous. The girl with a concussion can attest to that. Track and field bans men from competing in the women's division. I guess Caitlyn Jenner ain't going for a second decathlon gold. This time would be in the women's, but can't do that anymore. Take a look.
The ban on transgender track and field athletes from high-level women's events, including the Olympics. Eva Pilgrim has the story.
This morning, the international governing body over track and field announcing a ban that prevents transgender athletes from participating in female events after going through male puberty.
Okay, so I view this as a positive sign. These big sporting organizations, not all of them, but more and more, women's swimming, track and field, they're banning what we know should never have happened in the first place. More needs to happen, but these are positive signs. And then of all things, what do you think about biological men, aka men, competing against women in rugby? Combat sports like that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, rugby has stepped up and said, yeah, that does make sense to us. So rugby has banned men as well. But not everybody's happy about it. Some of these guys that want to piss out of girls are a little pissed themselves. Here's a former rugby player who was a man competing against women. He doesn't like it.
New restriction has been condemned by Caroline Late, a transgender woman who played representative rugby union and league 15 years ago.
It's really disappointing. It needs to be a case by case, and it needs to be nuanced, and it needs to be backed by science.
It needs to be backed by science. Dude, that's science does back it. We know what a boy is, what a girl is. We know what testosterone levels are. We know what bone density is. We know the difference in skeletal structure. There's also brain differences and eye-hand coordination. Science is already on the job here, ladies and gentlemen. So with that said, I would dare say in the fight against good versus evil, reality versus 1984, God versus Satan, there's some definite wins here. And amongst other things that it's a win for, common sense, reality, truth, but also women. I think it is so appropriate for women to be protected from predators, whether they're predatory athletes, predatory sexual offenders. Women need to be protected. Therefore, these are wins on protecting not only women, but also the purity of women's sports. I'm looking forward to more. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Some people are pissed about this. It's dude, yeah. Dude, and wife beaters are pissed that there's laws against domestic violence. Get it? Look forward to seeing you on our next video. But first, here's a special message not brought to you by George Orwell. If you're like me, you're on a mission to be as unhealthy as possible, where you feel terrible all the time, you're diseased, and have weak immunity. And something you've probably noticed too, so there's something mysterious going on with what were otherwise healthy people. We're seeing them get a lot of myocarditis, blood clots, they're dying suddenly, they're getting menstrual irregularities, and I think to myself, I too want those health outcomes. So I tried Spike Support by the Wellness Company, makers of the emergency medical kit. Unfortunately, it didn't give me the results I was looking for. It accidentally made my immunity stronger for some reason. Turns out spike protein is at the core of a lot of these irregular health issues people are getting nowadays. It's a lingering little gem from the you-know-what, as well as the man-made lab-grown you-know-what. It's been linked to all kinds of long-term health issues. Even Pfizer is now admitting spike protein's a problem. Spike Support is a unique blend of all-natural ingredients designed to block and dissolve spike protein in your body, so you can start feeling like yourself again with strong immunity and great health. If you're someone who wants to take control of your health and reclaim your power, then go to twc.health/JPReacts and grab your Spike Support today. And for 15% off, use code JPReacts. Enjoy.